Good morning and welcome to a new video changing a Clubsport V2.5 over to USB. So this is handy for people that perhaps want to get out the Fanatec ecosystem and maybe can't afford to get a wheel and a wheelbase at the same time. So I think the Clubsport is still a really good value wheel to use on other wheelbases. So this is from Sim Racing Machines, or SRM, as you can see on the box. So let's unbox it first. It's actually pretty simple taking the wheel apart. So what we've got in the box is a little conversion lead. I don't know which wheel this is for, but you don't need it for the 2.5. So we'll put that to the side, and there's a little baggie. What you've got in there is just half a dozen bolts for attaching this to, your quick release on whatever wheelbase you're using. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 7 bolts there. 6 are the same size. One is a little small. I'm not sure exactly what that's for. Probably another wheel, maybe. So let's just put that to the side. And then what we've got here, and this is it. So this will replace your QR1. This cable goes through the back of the wheel and plugs into the circuit board, and it's very nicely made. And there's your USB cable. So yeah, it's simpler than what it looks. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you've got the Podium Advanced paddles, you'll need to remove them before you can finish taking the wheel apart, because these 2 screws that are there, the lower paddles are in the way. So I've taken them out just to save a bit of time. And what I'll do now is I'll move the camera over to here, and we'll take it apart. So, won't be a moment. Okay, so to begin with, the tools that you're going to need, I'm going to be using a hot glue gun, which I will just plug in now. And then that will be warmed up. You don't have to use a bit of hot glue on the connector, but with the vibrations that you get through a direct drive base, I'd rather just add a tiny blob just to keep the main connector attached. So you're going to need a 2.5 and a 2mm Allen key, and then I've got this little jeweler's screwdriver set, because there's 2 tiny screws on the back, the 2 little Phillips head screws. So we need to take out both of them, both of them, both of them, and both of these. These 2 remove the cap on the back that covers the part of the board where you plug in the podium paddles or regular paddles. So that's that piece. And the 2.5. These 4 screws are machine screws going into metal. Okay, that's everything out of the front. So now I've got to go around to the back to take out these two and these two. Now just these last two screws. While you're taking out the last ones, keep your thumb on the back plate to hold it on, because you have to be a little bit gentle separating the two halves so that you can carefully unplug the pins, how the pins are held in. Right, so while I'm here, I'm going to use the 4mm ball joint to just undo the quick release. So this is, I forgot to mention, this is the X5. They do the 5X. They do a 6X, which you literally just bolt onto the back, so you don't have to open up the wheel. And that's got the USB-C power in there, so that will be the one that you need to buy if you wanted to change the, if you're using the Podium Advanced Endurance button box, that's what you get. This won't support power to that. Right, so that's that off. Oh yeah, 3mm needed just for these. Okay, so now that'll be loose. What I need to do now is just separate the two halves. Just give it a wiggle, it should just come apart nice and easy. So now you just need to grab that tab, try not to pull on the cables. There we go. That's that part done. So what we need to do now with the back half, to prepare it, just pull that through. You need to bend that cable a little bit to get it to pop through the hole in the back. And there we go. So keep that safe in case you ever want to go back to using it on a Fanatec base. Right, so the next step, let's just put this to one side. Now this part is the top. So ideally you want the cable to be coming out at the bottom of the wheel. So push the cable through this hole. Make sure it's all the way through. now you're just attaching the same 4 bolts that held the QR1 on there. Okay, so now we just need to tighten these down. Right, so now I can nip them up. Right, so that's that attached. USB cable all sorted. Alright, now, so we just need to plug this into the back into the board. Make sure you lift the tab over there so it clicks in. So now that is pretty secure, but I'm going to add a tiny bit of hot glue just to the top here. There we go. And then that's just gonna help hold that in. And hot glue's good because it's easy to remove. You just get your fingernail under it and just, you know, pick it off, and then the connector will come out nice and easy. Right, as far as I can see, that's everything ready to go. So just assemble it back up. So with this cable, just be mindful of not letting it get into a position where it could get pinched when you're putting the back together. So let's have a think about this now. So I can coil this back up into this hole a bit, just to hold it there while I put the halves together. There we go. Right, first step, I put the machine screws in first, so the cap heads go into these 2 holes. And then the countersunk machine screws go into the 2 lower holes. So these being machine screws, they're screwing directly into nuts, they're not screwing into plastic. So you can nip them up a little bit more than the other screws. Okay. Now the 2mm ones, these are screwing into plastic, so just tighten them until they bottom out. Don't give them any real force because you don't want to strip them out. So that's the front for now. Back's on. Now it's just these two tiny ones now. Again, don't tighten these up too much. They don't need it. Just being screwed into plastic is usually enough for them to be held in. There we go, that's bottomed out. Yeah, and that is. So that's it. Wheel back together. Now ready for plugging into a USB. So all I need to do next is to just put the advanced paddles back on, feed the cable through. This is usually a little bit fiddly. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. You just pop them through that hole until you see them appear at the bottom, and you can pull it through. I just heard the magnet pick up the bolt. So, because these magnets are quite powerful, they'll grab a bolt from quite a distance. It's quite surprising. Okay, that's one bolt in. There we go. So with regard to these, you probably already know this, but left paddle goes to the left side, right paddle goes to the right side. So, just gently push these in. I wouldn't apply any hot glue to these because they're very fragile. It's hard enough to get hold of the plug to unplug them carefully. Right, so that's in there. Tuck the cable in. That's that one on. bolt stuck to a magnet. Got it. One. There we go. That's that paddle on. And the same thing. Just plug this in gently. Which way around? Ah, there we go. Okay, there's the little plastic piece that covers this. Just hold that on, and then the last two screws, again going into plastic 2mm heads. Just nip them up carefully. That's it, all assembled, ready to go. So nice and simple, not as scary as it looks, and that just bolts straight onto your quick release. So now let's have a look. So when you hook this up to the PC, you don't use the Fanatec control panel or Fanalab, because now it's recognised. I'll just get the instructions to tell you about the software. So it says it's no longer a Fanatec wheel and window, so you can't use any Fanatec software or drivers. The buttons, shifters and encoders are all now standard Windows drivers. The display and LEDs need software to use them, so if you want to use the LEDs and the display, there's two software products available. One is called FanaLEDs, Fana LEDs, and that's free, or you can use SLI Max Pro, which has a $5 license. Only the top LEDs work with the conversion. The flag LEDs won't work. That's not a huge deal. Where are we now? Yeah, so just use one of those pieces of software and have it running before you load up a game. Some games will try to control the display and LEDs directly, thinking the wheel's still a Fanatec product, and this causes problems, so you must disable them in the in-game options. So disable Fanatec LEDs in the options on ACC, for example, and then let the software do its thing. But you don't have to use the LEDs and the display. I personally won't because I've got a DDU. But if you haven't, then I'll have a look at these two pieces of software. And yeah, that's it for this part. So next thing I'll do is in the next video I'll hook it up and we'll see what the software's like, and hopefully it'll all work fine, and then I've got myself a half decent spare wheel. And yeah, it looks really good. So check out the price, it's around £120. If you want the 6X, that's £140. It's a little bit more because of the USB and the simplicity of not having to open up the wheel. But I like this one because I wanted to open up the wheel. I like tinkering, so yeah, quite enjoyed that. Alright, so yeah, that's it for part one, and as soon as I get a chance to put it on the PC, I'll just do a follow-up on, well, whether it works or not. Hopefully it'll be fine. So, shall see you soon.